everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of SDRs on Mars, the show where we talk to salespeople about being salespeople. I am here with Alicia Mariani, and I'm going to let you take it away for a minute, Alicia, and tell us a little bit about who you are.
Of course, and thank you so much, Jeremy, for having me. This is exciting for me to take on. More than happy to answer some questions that you have set up for me. I am excited because I'm very new to my role as a sales development representative with Net2Phone Canada, and I essentially make a lot of outbound calls to businesses and get them on voice over IP. So it's been a very fun 4 weeks of learning something new, but directly outbound sales rep, working from home, and that's where I'm at right now in 2021.
Awesome. And so you just said working from home. Where is home?
Home is north of Toronto. Whoever's watching this might be from all over. I'm in Aurora, which is in New York region.
Okay, cool. And so the office for Net2Phone is located in Ottawa, am I right?
Correct.
Cool. So what is working remotely for you? Have you done remote work before?
Never. I almost had like zero expectations coming in. You hear a lot of cons and you hear a lot of pros just based off of making decisions throughout this time right now. I kind of went into this being a bit blindsided. So I absolutely love it. I stand firm in the decision. I know not a lot of people think it's a positive thing working from home, but just based off of all the changes in the past year and a half, with obviously 2020 being the way it's been, it's so amazing how happy I am. Like the balance I have, and this is just again from my perspective, doing mom, I'm currently like doing this interview with you and having my daughter work behind me. And I get it, for some it's insanely chaotic, but so you're just thrown into this new normal, and it's beautiful that I don't have to like get on the road and go into work. Like it's really good. I've been really enjoying it. This is week 4, but I'm really happy with the decision that I made. So I've never been in this environment before, and yeah, it's really good.
Cool. Okay, well, I have a couple follow-ups for you now, but yeah, I think like what you just illustrated, like adaptability in this kind of climate, it's pretty key, right? Everything's just been changing so fast. So, okay, before I get into like your remote experience, I want to know, what does an SDR do at Net2Phone?
Yeah, of course. We have we use our CRM. We use Salesforce. Our expectations are making outbound calls to businesses. I make about 80 to 100 calls per day, and we basically are going to connect with someone who manages the phone systems at that office and offer them solutions. And with Net2Phone, they're 100% Canadian voice over IP provider.
Cool. Awesome. And so now I want to know a little bit like sort of that experience coming into a company remotely. You don't get to like sit beside someone in job shadow. So how has that experience been?
Again, like I'm so happy, and I'm so went above my expectations of with everything that Net2Phone has done. Like prior to even my first day, like my laptop, my equipment, already was just sent to my house. And even though I don't really have anyone beside me to ask questions with, via Slack, messaging, cell phones, the team has been so amazing with the onboarding. And I think within like my first 3 days, my first week, I felt like I was set up for success. So everybody's a phone call away, an instant message away, and it actually makes me more successful because I have to kind of solve a lot of solutions on my own. Where I think in other roles, I would consider myself the bratty one, or like anything IT related, like I just don't know. And now I feel like I can go into any office and like set up the system.
There you go. There you go. I love it. Cool. So who, like when you're, making your cold calls and targeting prospects, who do you want to talk to? Who's the person that's like your bread and butter?
Well, I come from a previous role where I also was making phone calls and like depending on like a business owner, essentially who I would in the past have to be on board to connect with. Where the shift here at Net2Phone is that the leads and the businesses are provided. Of course, we can outsource. That's a whole other conversation. But what I've been doing and what I'm being taught by other SDRs right now is that, you know, there's an IT department, there's a managing director. You really have to discern like what business they're calling based off of 6 employees or 600, who would just manage the phone system. So how I've been navigating so far to get to that right decision maker is just simply like asking questions. So if you're going to get a receptionist, and in our world they're called a gatekeeper, you really got to just not come in and sell them like, good morning, Jeremy, like how was your day? And a lot of people don't even like that question, how are you? But it's again just building that rapport and having a normal conversation. It's simply just asking who you can speak with that oversees and manages the phone systems within the office. So it's going to obviously differ depending on what industry who you're calling, but that's who you want to.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Let's say you're calling my company, Lumsden Recruiting. There's no one else in my company right now, so you get to talk to me. I want to hear your pitch. Sell me some VoIP services.
All about sales, about being uncomfortable, right? I can't. You know what? I would basically be calling you and reaching out to see how your Monday's going. How's your Monday going, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, my Monday is going pretty good. I did some baking on the weekend, so I'm ready to hit it this week.
I absolutely love that. Now, side note brackets, like I would not disregard what you just said and be like, I'm calling with Netphone Canada. Like if you just pick up the phone and in 3 seconds told me you did some baking on the weekend, to me, I sold. Like I'm going to baking. I don't care if I'm going to waste 9 minutes of talking about what did you bake this weekend, Jeremy?
I made some pretzels actually. Yeah.
It's completely aligned that I have a hospitality degree, so I would just be listening with you. And then after the banter and after the talking about making pretzels, I'd say anyway, the reason why I'm reaching out to you, Jeremy, is because I'm with Netphone Canada. We're Canadian voice over IP service, and we help businesses manage their phone systems. You're answering the phone right now. Are you on a landline? Are you using voice over IP?
Yeah, okay. No, go ahead. I like it. I was too into the role playing. Awesome. Okay, cool. So what are some common objections that you've been running into in this role now?
Great question. And I dealt with that a lot last week because this will be my 4th week where the first 2 weeks that I started with Netphone, I wasn't necessarily on the phone, just doing a lot of onboarding and shadowing and training. So now that I'm a solid 8 business days in of hearing objections and actually being successful with booking demos, but regardless, the biggest objection I find, other than the common like hang-ups, not interested, you will have 100 no's before you hear a yes or even a conversation like you and I just had with the role play. It's just part of the game. But a lot of people right now are using another service that we provide. So surprisingly enough, that's to me, again, my perspective, I'm hearing, a local IP, Ring Central, Microsoft Teams, Zoom. A lot of people have kind of made that transition. So now it's just getting into the conversation of what Netphone can do as opposed to, what the competitor can do.
Right. Okay.
And I love it though because again, this is something new for me. I've never sold voice over IP, so I kind of actually love that within the first month, like, these conversations are happening because I shouldn't be overconfident, but I would assume after 3-month probation and like when I start to get really comfortable with the role, that overcoming and turning over these objections are going to be very, I think, easy for me. So quite easy, but
wow, I love the confidence. That's awesome.
I mean, I don't have a colleague beside me saying if I'm hot or not, so that could be completely just thinking. That's been my experience this week.
Cool. Okay. What do you feel like is your most useful sales tool?
People are so afraid of sales, but I think you can have a conversation. You can be successful. So for myself personally, I do have the confidence and I do have the ability to build, I should say, like a strong rapport with people. That could be over the phone or face to face. And I truly believe and do it genuinely. Like I talk a lot. even though I'm super European and I talk with my hands when I stand up, like I still do that body language while I'm working at my desk. So I think people can feel that, and I know people can feel that over the phone. So you're going to have, again, amazing calls and then not so amazing calls, but why I'm still in sales after all these years would be because it just comes really naturally for me to have a conversation.
Right.
Somebody effectively.
It's really interesting that you just talked about like using your hands, because people can tell. And I've worked with a couple of people that were like, I get on the phone and I just stand up now because it's just like, it's more natural for me. And I think, yeah, cool.
That smile and dial, it like is still a thing.
Awesome. So would you have any, like, if you were talking to Alicia, who's like, considering getting into sales, what would you tell her?
Be a student. I come from, again, roles that have been similar to what I'm doing now, but also had experience doing face-to-face sales. There's a big stigma around other, even friends of mine that I know that I just hear the lyric a lot, like, I would never do sales.
Right.
Someone who's saying that has done sales before. Like, everything is a transaction. Like, you go to Gordon's in the morning, that's sales. So, yes, you can look at, like, the ladder of, like, from entry-level sales roles to like account executive VP sales roles, but it's all almost the same process. And if you're a student and you want to do something new, again, a motivator of money, of time, like that, there's so much opportunity in sales. And I think no matter what drives you, if you're a student and you just learn a process, again, I'm going off from the question. That's how passionate I am. You don't be scared. I think that's all I would say about like a new rep or anybody coming in. Almost walk into anything that you would blindly. You will be uncomfortable, but hey, like that's growth. Like I hate role playing, but I do it every day.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's how you grow. It's how you become better. It's how you even can take the tools from any sales role and effectively use it, like in your area of like personal life, like just communicate better with people around you. So that's I'm getting a little deep, but that's my perspective.
I love it. Embrace the uncomfortability.
Always.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. So I want to know a little bit about how you kind of go about your day and organize yourself. Do you start your day with water, coffee, tea? What does that look like?
Okay, yes. God, this is gonna sound like I do this every day. So we all have bad days. This is no like Instagram story, like picture perfect, because I'm full of imperfections and dysfunction with being here at home and also having a 6-year-old do grade 1 work. But it's super important to, and I've learned this, I guess not old, but as you get older, to be on time and to be prepared. Like you just need to be really alert, and not to say like you can't have like a day where you're tired, but I will get up and like drag myself to the kitchen and like mix in my vitamin C pack, and that's the first thing I have is a water.
Okay.
Turn on the coffee maker, whatever coffee we're gonna have for that morning. Full of conversation, and then I get ready. Like even though I work from home, and again, people might judge me because I'm on week 4. I don't get ready, but like I do the essentials. Like I don't just roll out of bed and come to my desk. Now that works for some people, but for Alicia, if you only ask me, that's what makes me feel ready. I still have 2 hours, so wake up at 6:30 to like get on the phones and start my day. So that's a positive for me of working from home. However, when I was in an office environment, I was still doing that, but I was looking at like 5 years.
Yeah.
Be prepared, and I do have a glass of water. Yes, start the kettle for the coffee.
Beauty. Okay. Awesome. And do you have a specific brand of coffee you like? Do you like black coffee?
We're getting into like a full deep conversation here, Jeremy. I think I, like many people, can just talk about caffeine for a long time. Don't judge. Oh my God, it's so awful. I have like a beautiful Seiko machine and tried all like the espressos, but every morning I've been having instant coffee. I was not even allowed to drink that coming from like a very European family. Like it was just never in the house. It was always like a fresh espresso. But for myself, like I don't know, instant coffee is a thing now. So that's what I have: instant coffee, some almond milk, cream, maple syrup.
Yeah, you gotta watch out. That instant coffee has been making gains. It's like competitive to coffee now.
Like it's not my choice, but I don't know. Every morning it's just like a different taste, and it's just so good.
Right. Okay. Cool. And so you're crushing out the dials. You have a long day. How do you space out a little bit and be like, hey, I'm like done my day. I did my work. How do you feel good about it?
I have to always get outside now. Minus 30. I'm not out there like embracing like the wind chill and the cold breeze. But again, working from home has the challenges of not like the morning commute where you're walking and you're out and about. So for me, mentally, because I talk all day, I enjoy that quiet time in the morning for sure. But then when the day's done, like laptop shut and like free. So it's like mom mode, park mode. I don't watch a lot of TV in general, so that's never been my disconnect. If I get into like a really good series, I can like put that on, but like I always ensure I go outside.
Okay.
Patio there, like done. A couple exhales, it could be 10 minutes, it could be like 60 seconds, just to like put intention into like being proud that the work day is over and then starting the next task.
Nice. Okay.
Never ending, but like, leave it at that.
Fair enough. Cool. I like it. And that kind of segues nicely for me. So like this summer, or what's next for you kind of is the question, whether it's plans this summer or even at the end of the day. Like,
That's a good question because you know what? It paints some vision because this has been again like a year of like every single plan being interrupted. So I have plans of traveling like in Canada. I still have not been that proactive of like clicking yes to like make the booking. I want to definitely go. My sister's out in BC. I want to go to Canmore. I want to do some of that. I got vacation approved because that was after my 3 months.
hey.
But I think it's important, and it's actually amazing to be with Net2Phone in that sense because a lot of organizations are amazing, but Net2Phone really, and what I've seen even with my onboarding, is it's really important for you to take that time off and disconnect.
Awesome.
Again, there's a stigma of like, don't take vacation, don't call in sick for work, but like that's irrelevant now. And it's been irrelevant for the past year based off of how we've all had to navigate this time. So I want to go away. If I don't do that, I'm going to get a like really cheap little Canadian Tire. I'm not going to like do a huge, above ground situation. But my daughter's home, I'm home. Enjoy outside. There's still amazing lakes you can go to in Ontario, and that's important for me to again be in nature in that sense. That's it. So there's no traveling within Canada. I'm gonna watch the sunsets, have some barbecues, swim in the cheap Canadian Tire pool that I'll probably buy, and just enjoy the short time that we actually have.
I love it. Yeah. I think it is important to kind of know, what that thing is that you're looking forward to or that vacation. It definitely is nice for me, I think, to see that on the horizon, right? You kind of know that there's something that you're building towards. Just as another side note, I was actually talking to a buddy the other day, and he told me that he got round trip to Vancouver for $240 Canadian.
So, like, I'll stop you right there. Like, I used to be a travel agent many years ago. Regardless of being a travel agent or not, if a lot of people have ever tried to travel within Canada, it's always been cheaper just to go to Cuba or like Mexico. So the fact that it's insanely inexpensive right now for a flight obviously is a beautiful thing for people in Canada to go see other provinces that they've never visited before. Because again, my sister is in BC. She just moved there for the pandemic. Cousins in BC, and even looking at those flights to Canmore to Calgary, it's crazy how like literally saving $800, $900.
I know. Like I was looking at it and I was like, I've never been to BC. Like I want to do that.
Life. I think it's important to like just explore. Travel is where you grow. You see other cultures, again, huge passion of mine is just understanding and seeing the mountains. Like, and I'm all like, I see like the cloud and I'm like, lost thinking about BC and all that, but it's beautiful. So what I'm saying is definitely, if it's not now, set the intention, even if I don't think the flights will skyrocket to thousands of dollars again, but it's worth it. It's a beautiful part of our country.
Awesome. Cool. Well, that is Alicia Mariani. Thank you for joining us today, Alicia, and I appreciated all of it. So I'll tag you in it, and if you guys want to reach out to Alicia, you'll be able to see through what we're posting here.
For sure. Thank you again so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Alicia.
Bye.